Hi, welcome to RVing 109, where I'm going to talk to you briefly about some of the mistakes that my wife and I made when we bought our first RV, which is what we're in right now. And hopefully, you will do more and better research than what we did. So, the only research that we really did when we bought this thing was we made sure that the vehicle that we had at the time, Dodge Durango RT, was able to tow this thing cross country. And it did. It did it phenomenally. We were not able to really use the RV for a couple of years because everything, because of COVID, was shut down. And just a few months ago, we were able to go truly for our first glamping trip. Now, I didn't think much of it before then because I had gone camping my entire life. Tents on the ground, sleeping bags on the ground, no air mattresses, air mattresses. So this was our first true experience glamping, and it was fun. But there's a few things that I wish I took into consideration that I hope you take into consideration. All right, so one thing is size, absolute size of the RV. Whatever you think you want, so this is a 24-foot living space RV. Whatever you think you want, go bigger. You won't regret it. If you have the means to tow it, go absolutely go bigger. We've gone camping in this thing one time, and we're already looking at trying to get into a bigger RV. Again, this is a 24-foot living space, 27 feet total length with towing. And having a 27-foot or even a 30-foot living space capacity would be so amazing. So, number one, if you can, go bigger. You will not regret going bigger. Number two is you are going to need to become a jack of all trades in everything. So, plumbing, you're going to need to learn how to do some plumbing. Even though all the stuff in the RV is very simple, it's hard to get into, but you're still going to want to know the basics. Plumbing, electrical, and basic carpentry. You're going to find that when you first get into glamping or RVing, that this stuff is made out of very cheap material. So stuff falls out of the walls all the time. When you first start driving these things around, the shifting and the turning and the torque and just the general rattling, you're going to start finding sawdust everywhere. And it's perfectly normal. It happens all the time. Just it's going to last for a couple of years as everything kind of starts to settle because this is all particle board, very thin sheets of plywood that is rip cut. And so there is sawdust everywhere in these. And again, it's very thin and stuff just kind of falls apart very easily and it shifts on you. So I'll show you this. So case in point is the fire extinguisher. This came with the RV when we bought it, and it was mounted right here. And I don't know if you can really see those holes in the camera, but there's two holes right here, which is where this was mounted. And the first drive, I'm not even saying a long drive, taking it from the RV shop to my in-laws' house, 10 miles down the road, this fell out. So this is very thin, 1-ply, 2-ply plywood. And now we just keep it in a cabinet underneath the bench. So you're going to need to learn to do some carpentry. Plumbing. You're going to want to get comfortable doing some of the plumbing. And this is why. So we replaced our faucet in here. The faucets that come factory with these things, you might be able to get a knuckle underneath of it. So I just went to Lowe's and bought the cheapest bathroom faucet that I could find, and I put it in so at least now when we go to the bathroom, we can wash our full hands instead of just a knuckle at a time. But doing that, you have to work in very confined spaces, and what's in my RV is PEX, and PEX it's great stuff, but trying to get in and out of here and navigating PEX and cutting and lengthening stuff to get it to fit the new faucet was more than what I bargained for. I had planned on maybe taking 15-20 minutes to do this. It took me 2 hours to get this done. And again, first time I've ever really had to work with plumbing, and it is a pain. I had to buy some stuff on how to work with buy the stuff to work with PEX. So get used to some of the plumbing. Same thing with the, let's see if we can get you in here, the toilet. So first winter with this thing, I never didn't really pay attention to the winterizing of it, and the toilet started leaking. So I had to rip out the toilet, and it's just a $2 part that I had to replace. Um, and that actually took me 30 minutes to replace. When I told the RV shop what I was trying to do, they said, "Yeah, it's $1.50 part, $2 part. You can either bring it in and we can do it. We're going to charge you a couple $100 to do it, or you can do it yourself, and here it is." And I basically said, "Here's a 5, keep the change, and I will go on my merry way." So the stuff in the RVs are very easy to work on. I'm 6'2", so just working on everything in here is awkward and difficult because I'm so tall and everything in here is in such confined spaces. It's hard to navigate everything. Um, which brings me to the other thing about being tall. Everything in RVs is small. So this goes back to my very first point of buying something bigger. The shower. This is where it's a convenience, and it's a nice convenience if you have something bigger. So I'm 6'2", and I am too tall for my shower. And here, I'll show you in just a second. And I took my shoes off. I am simply in just my socks right now. My head's on the ceiling. So when I take a shower, I have to put my head in the vent so that I can take a shower, but then I'm above my faucet. So what I recommend to everybody is, if you're buying an RV for the very first time, jump in the shower with your shoes on. And if you can stand up in there with a couple inches or even an inch without having to contort your head to fit in there, do that. Because it is a convenience, but it's a nice convenience when after a long day out in the sun, you don't have to stand in the shower like this. You can just stand upright, and you see the bathtubs. I mean, there's enough room for a toddler to actually take a bath in there, which is what I want to recommend. The refrigerator. So let's bring you in a little bit closer. So refrigerators on most RVs have these fins in here. And how you adjust the thermostat of these fins is this little tab right there. And what you do is you slide this up and down, and that helps to adjust the temperature of the refrigerator. So these things take an immense amount of time to cool down. So what I recommend is, the day before you go camping or glamping, fire up your RV, plug it in, and let the refrigerator cool down for 24 hours before you actually go out camping, and then stock it up. And it should be fine for your drive. But yeah, we didn't do that, and luckily we had an ice chest with all of our food, and the ice chest stayed cool for 24 hours until the refrigerator got cool enough that we could put everything inside of it. So, and another thing that a lot of people do, my brother-in-law told me about this is the actual thermostat, from what I understand, this little dongle. There is a website, and please don't laugh, it's called snipthetip.com, and I'll put the link in the description below, where you cut this and it removes the need for this piece of plastic to adjust the temperature of your refrigerator. Obviously, I haven't done it because I've only gone camping once in this thing, glamping once in this. So, and we're not even sure if we're going to end up keeping this RV, because we're looking at buying a bigger one. Because again, go bigger if you have the means. And that blue thing is just so that the refrigerator can air out so it doesn't get all nasty in it. So, RVing 109. Sorry about that. RVing 109. Become a jack of all trades. Carpentry, plumbing, and electrical. I have had no issues with electrical in this so far. Hopefully I don't, but everything I've seen seems pretty straightforward and pretty easy, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. The plumbing, confined spaces, but it's manageable and it's relatively easy. Carpentry, stuff breaks. When we went glamping, luckily I brought a toolbox with me. I brought a couple power tools with some fully charged batteries. Not a big deal. Go bigger. by all means, go bigger. Stand in your shower, with your shoes on to make sure that you fit in your shower. And if you're shorter than I am, if you're below 5'10", if you're below 5'8", you should have no problems at all. But if you're 5'10" or higher, you could have some issues. So thanks for watching. See you on the next video.